Alright, what's going on, y'all? We're back. I know it's been a few days, but of course it's been interesting. Got snowed in from work a couple days out of the week. That's really neither here nor there. One thing I do want to talk about, and something that I should have been working towards, it's actually something I've been talking about doing for a while, is that I am looking to go live on Twitch. I will actually be doing that probably tomorrow. I might possibly go live here even sometime after I finish recording this video. I don't know, it depends. I'm just trying to get to where I can muster the energy to do that if I'm so able to, but we'll see about that. I'll throw out the post, tweet, whatever you want to call that beforehand, and we'll go from there. So yeah, twitch.tv/ANJ Network, and we'll be looking to have a good time. I'll be mainly and primarily streaming a lot of Ultimate Team for both college and Madden, and of course from there we'll get into other stuff, but that's going to be down the road. That's just give you an idea of stuff to look forward to. That's a primary thing. Definitely going to look to go live tomorrow though, so again, twitch.tv/ANJ Network. But that aside, we're going to actually get into business here, and some interesting notes in the wrestling world to talk about, and one most notably that we got to get into. But first, we're going to talk about former Diva and Women's Knockouts champion. Well, really and truly, she's been a champion everywhere that she's been. Gail Kim, surefire Hall of Famer. I'm not sure if they've inducted her into the TNA Hall of Fame yet. I imagine they will at some point. I tend to forget that, but either way, she definitely needs to be in there for that and for WWE at some point. But either way, with that in mind, it has been posted on Twitter by WrestleVotes via WrestleOps that Gail Kim is actually in talks with WWE about making an appearance in the Royal Rumble, and I think that's pretty cool for a variety of reasons. And I feel like it's just something that would be really, really good to see. She's not necessarily actively wrestling now, but of course she'll get in there when needed, and I think that having her in the Rumble would be something cool. I think there are definitely fans that remember her and recognize her well enough to know what she brings to the table. It's just unfortunate because under an old regime, which we'll actually be speaking about here, she actually again was able to win the Women's Championship. I'm pretty sure she won the Divas title, but neither reign was necessarily memorable. It was something that left a lot to be desired, to say the least, each time, and that's with each of her stints in WWE, with having, I'm pretty sure it was about 4 or 5 years with TNA in between. But to me, it would just be pretty cool to see her in this year's Rumble. They actually started this trend, as you'll remember, with then Knockouts champion Mickie James a few years back, who actually participated in the Royal Rumble as the Knockouts champion, of course. And of course, last year we saw Jordan Grace participate as Knockouts champion as well. And there's expectation that she's on her way to WWE, and honestly, to see that trend continue, but to have Gail Kim be a part of it, I think would be a really, really cool thing to see, and hopefully that's what we're going to wind up getting. I would definitely be delighted at that. That being said, we're going to move along to another likely return now with I guess I should call him Aleister Black. Of course, we've been referring to him as Malachi Black as a part of AEW. And needless to say, especially in recent months, the time with AEW has been a little bit lacking, to say the least. I'm certainly not going to deny that. One thing I will say about it is that for as much as we'd like to have seen for Malachi in AEW, hopefully we get that a bit more so with WWE upon his return. which of course it has been reported by multiple sources that he is done with AEW at this point. They are, interestingly enough, actually pushing the hell out of both Brody Lee and Buddy Matthews with AEW, so, you know, just the notion that Malachi couldn't fit into that in some way, shape, or form is a little bit baffling, but it seems as though they're continuing on with the House of Black. Of course, Julia Hart is still carrying on with that gimmick, and needless to say, it's just going to be really, really interesting to see how all this unfolds. Of course, he's expected to be a part of the aforementioned Royal Rumble, and I think that's definitely going to be really, really cool to see him come back. Hopefully it'll be the same music and everything. I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But, yeah, we're going to be getting Aleister Black back, and I definitely am looking forward to that. But that being said, the contrary is to be the case as far as this next topic. Of course, as it's been reported today, Vince McMahon actually has settled with the SEC on what I figure to be the civil lawsuit involving Janelle Grant, and it's really interesting because Janelle Grant's attorney has come out making a statement saying that there's still a criminal investigation going on, and of course there's new evidence that's still yet to be presented, which really makes this interesting given the statement that Vince posted earlier in the day, saying specifically that he's very happy to be putting it behind him, but that doesn't seem to be entirely true if this statement from Miss Grant's attorney is to be the case, and I certainly have no doubt that it is. Settling something in a civil case is one thing, but when you've still got criminal investigation going, you know, you're still working your way through the mud, so to speak. So I don't know if he's really getting comfortable at an appropriate time, but he was happy to be able to put that behind him, I guess. I don't know how he's expecting to get through this, and especially depending upon what this new evidence may be. And that's something that we're all going to need to keep our eyes open for, because I don't know. It's just awfully strange from the perspective of, you know, sex trafficking, or human trafficking, being amongst the many charges that he has going against him right now. I don't know. First of all, the timing of this is where it's really throwing me off. Well, I shouldn't say it's throwing me off, but it's really, really interesting to me. Just because, you know, he settled out for, as I understand, what was $400,000, and reimbursed WWE $1.3 million in the money that was used for the hush fund to basically keep all this from seeing the light. And sure shit didn't get the money's worth out of that, but the point I'm trying to make here is I'm not really sure what we're supposed to be expecting with this new evidence. One thing I will say about it, though, is I'm sensing a significant amount of confidence from Janelle Grant's attorney in terms of their stance on the situation. And I don't know. All I can say is that it's just going to be really, really interesting to see where it all goes from here. But again, it's just really, really wild to know that they've already got a civil settlement that's taken place. I just, man, you usually see that happen after everything is said and done with the criminal case. That's what I think I find to be a bit more bizarre, at least as far as what I've seen. I mean, just thinking back to the OJ trial, for example, there was definitely a civil settlement or whatever it was after he was, after the verdict came in that he was not guilty. Fast forward numerous years later with the Kobe Bryant situation, there was a settlement that came, but the difference there is that settlement was enough to actually get the supposed victim then, I can't remember her name, but, you know, she agreed to drop all of the criminal charges upon the civil settlement. So, usually unless that winds up being the case, you don't ever see anything with the civil case solved before anything criminal is completed. And I don't know how there's any light at the end of this tunnel, but anyway, I've gone on long enough about this. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Of course, y'all know what it is. Like, share, and subscribe. And I apologize for having been so shaky recently. I know this is something that I've had as a trend. I'm gonna do everything I can to end that, and I've said that before too, but I believe I'm sticking to it, and I guess all I have to do is just try to prove that moving forward. But with that in mind, I thank you very much, because this has been your time with A&J, and I appreciate you spending it.